You know, with only having like less than 2 weeks left here at the shop before I go to my next job, I think it's only fair that I do a full tour of what the shop that I won't be working at forever looks like. Also, for those of you who are wondering, the light switch is hidden all the way back here. So this is it. You haven't seen it with the lights on yet, but this is the only Ideal Bikes in Halifax now. Much bigger, much cleaner store with finished walls. So let's go around. Excuse the mess. When you merge two stores together, especially one that has been at a location for like 20 years, a lot of baggage comes along with that. Basically, this was just like a specialized store. A lot of mountain bikes, and then a good selection of men's hybrids and adventure bikes up top. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. And then the same happens for the women's stuff over there. Now this room over here, the colored room, this is the road bike, the fancy road bike room. The colors on the walls do represent something. This pink for the Giro, yellow for the Tour, and orange for the Vuelta, but the Vuelta seems to change its leader's color jersey all the time. This wall could also work. So this is the shop area. So the shop area right now is like a bomb went off, but this is a service room where all the parts are in. Someone is going to hang out in here, and this will be the spot that you come to when you're getting repairs done on your bike. This is what I was working on all day yesterday. And then these two are the repair bays. And that's basically the shop. Now I know you didn't click on this video for a rundown on the shop that I'm currently working in. You clicked on this video for information on this bike. This could easily be the absolute best looking bike that Specialized has ever produced. It's certainly been a minute since the last time I did a shop stop-in bike feature style video, but with this being my absolute favorite bike on the market, it's hard to help not wanting to make a bit of a feature video about it. So specifically, this is the entry-level Diverge in the Specialized lineup. It's the 2018 Diverge E5 in easily my favorite color that you could possibly get any bike in. Probably my #1 complaint about the majority of entry-level bikes that come out of just about any brand is the fact that they look so painstakingly entry-level. And I gotta give Specialized credit here because that is not what this bike looks like at all. Looking at this thing with the combination of new Shimano Claris and the fact that they didn't build it with like annoyingly different geometry and different clearances than the higher end versions, make this thing look significantly higher end than it actually is. So a few key features: E5 Specialized aluminum for frame construction, tapered head tube, dropped seat stays, through axle on the rear, carbon fork, tapered steer, also a through axle here. Both use flat mount disc brake calipers, 160 rotor in the front and a 140 in the rear, I believe. As much as I am a SRAM guy, I have to give Shimano a ton of credit for updating the Shimano Claris group set because these look so good. I would actually ride this 8-speed group set. So like I said, it is an 8-speed group set. It uses a 4634 chainring setup with a 8-speed Sunrace cassette. This looks like an 11 through 32, but I would go on the Specialized website and just check that out. Wheels obviously have to be a through axle wheel set, but they are an Axis Sport disc brake wheel set. Nothing crazy special about that, but it does leave a ton of options open for upgrading your entry-level bike, which is not something you typically see. Well, usually the dropouts on the rear would be non-through axle, so this is an incredible entry-level bike. Enough so that I want one. The biggest takeaway for me, apart from the fact that new Shimano Claris actually looks decent, is the tire clearance for days. Now on the Shimano website, they do say that the aluminum version of the Diverge will fit up to a 38. And I'm looking at this here, and through the seat stays, like on the old Diverge, you could probably only really fit a 33, and that was close. This is massive. You could park a Mack truck in there. I would say that you could put something a lot bigger than a 38 in there. But generally the problem area on most bikes is the chain stays, but on this, even the chain stays, like you could fit a small like box van in there. Maybe not a Mack truck, but a box van for sure. Biggest problem area on most bikes, pretty well dealt with on this. Forks, well, forks, it's very rare that there's ever any real issue with fork clearance, and the same kind of goes for this. I'm sure that you could fit something bigger than a 38. I think that this bike could probably safely ride a 42 until you get into some really bad mud. So I would probably ride a 42. Now, kind of another complaint of mine when it comes to bikes that have massive clearances is how kind of dorky they can end up looking if you've got a smaller tire on there. There's a 30 on there right now, which would be pretty perfect for road riding. It's not too big that you would get dropped, and it's not too small that it'd be uncomfortable. And I don't know that anyone could ever say that that looks dorky or weird. Probably if you went down to like a 23, it would look a little strange, but it's hard to say. This is just a good looking bike stock. I'd be incredibly happy to road race this bike the way it's kind of set up, but I would change maybe the bars and stem and saddle, but that's all personal preference. This, the way it's set up, I would road race, and I would go do like Wolfville-Roubaix on no problem. The coolest part is that it looks good with a smaller tire, but it will actually fit a big, massive tire so that you can actually go do adventure ride. It's hard not to want to beat that to death. Now, I think an elephant in the room worth mentioning is the fact that the lower end versions of the Diverge do not come with the Future Shock, and I, for one, am actually pretty pleased about that. I like to ride a really, really low stem, so I'd be taking all these spacers out and putting in something really small here, slamming it down, and probably throwing on a longer stem to get the typical drop bar bike fit that I like. So this, to me, is a major plus. Last year I rode a Roubaix, and there was just no way that I could get the bars as low as I like without maybe going to an even smaller size, or, I like the way the Future Shock works. It actually does its job quite well, but for me to get the appropriate fit, I was having a hard time with it. And this, for me, I really like the fact that they kept everything simple on the lower end bikes, and the fact that it comes with through axles and you don't really lose any of the quality anywhere else. I think I would actually consider this a bit of a plus. So obviously what I'm saying here with all these amazing praises of this bike is, I want this bike, I'd like to own it, and I honestly think that I could probably use it for every single thing that I do. I could build this up with the fit that I want to road race and to go do adventure riding and probably do a full season of cyclocross on. I would go as far as to say that I would sell all of my drop bar bikes to own 2 of these, one that I would use every single day for every single thing, and another one as like a cyclocross race bike. I know it's not a cross bike, but it's got more clearance than some of the rally cross bikes, and it would probably work better than all my friends who own rally cross bikes. I would actually finish a muddy race while they're sitting there trying to dig. So Specialized, if you're watching and you want to like take me up on that, and I'll do a full year of only riding a Diverge as my drop bar bike in every event that I do besides mountain biking. I'll allow you to give me 2 of these in a size 56. That would be totally fine. I'll be happy to do that for you. Worth a try? Okay, I hope you enjoyed my long video about this bike where I had only pros and 0 cons. Also, threaded bottom bracket,